Mike's Daily Podcast.
Welcome back, Mike. Thank you. Episode 1256. Sex. What? Freudian slip. What kind of a slip? A woman's slip. She wears under a dress. I think. I don't know. It's been a while.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
1256. Since I've been married. It was a long time ago that I was married, and now I'm not.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Wow, the show got off to a very depressing start, but I think I can show you my heart and say I've been very happy lately, cause my sinuses aren't hurting me daily. I'm feeling much better, except for the fact that
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I could not bring you a show yesterday due to the wonderful rains.
Mike's
What apparently
Daily
happened
Podcast.
was the water
Yeah!
that came out of the sky decided to funnel its way into a tiny crack in my patio, which went down into my basement. And I got home from work driving through torrents, BitTorrents. You're going to jail. FBI. Knock, knock, knock. Who's there? FBI. Police. The Popo. I had to drive through the buckets and the torrents of rain and the storms to get home. Oh yeah, my cab light stayed on. You know, I had like a little electrical thing. Oh yeah, because water got into my car again through the moonroof. Oh, this damn moonroof. I love moonroofs, but when they're leaking, not so much fun. So that I was like, I'm not going to be able to get to work tomorrow. I'll have to walk down to Bart. I did not buy a house close to Bart. I'll just say that right now. I am several miles from Bart. And you can't really take a bus to get to the Bart at the time of the hour of the day that I leave for work. So that's out of the picture, and walking is in the picture. Look who just walked in, as a matter of fact.
Oh my goodness, it's Chely Shoehart, your chef supervisor. It's really great to be back on the show.
Yeah, you were on the last show because we did a drawing of you.
That's right, Mike Matthews. We talked about adulting.
Adulting, that's right. So are you considered a millennial or a Generation Z-er?
What's that?
That's the generation preceding millennials. That would be the ones that cut off at 20. So if you're older than 20, you are over the freaking hill. Sorry, good night, bye. Shut the lights off when you're gone. You're a Generation Z-er if you're pre that, and the world is your oyster, and everything is there for you. The Disney Channel, Nick at Nickelodeon, Nick at Night. No, Nick at Night's when you're over the hill. Look who else just walked in. I'm just randomly coming up with things that people have never ever believed. Oh, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman! And this is John Deere, the engineer. Mike, I believe what you are saying is that Generation Z is from 0 to 20. That's right. People being born right at this second are going to be Generation Zers. Ah! It sounds like a zombie thing. But it's a baby thing. Look at the baby. Wow. That gets annoying quick, doesn't it?
Get in my belly!
No, not that kind of a... Hey, that was a funny movie back in the long time ago. None of you millennials will know that movie, where that's from. It's from a movie called Austin Powers with a Mike Myers resurrecting his career. Long after Wayne's World, he tried to come back, and he did with Austin Powers, and then he got the Shrek job. And that made him some serious coin. A lot of cash. A lot of coin. All right, today we're getting to a news story that's called a fine article, because I have a fine article right here. I'm going to tell you about something having to do with Podcaster Valley, Moncton. I met a New Zealand girl yesterday in Podcaster Valley. I was walking Basil the Boxer, and we were up over by Fairmont Ridge, and there I'm walking along, and Basil starts to dig. And he's digging and digging and digging, and there's a car parked not too far away. And I notice there's some people in there, and I'm like, well, I know what they're doing. Hot boxing. And that's when two women who are hot start to box each other. No, it's not. Oh, where'd that? I wanted that song suddenly to come out of nowhere. Boxing women are so hot. Women boxers? No, this is my dog boxer, Basil the Boxer. And so he's digging and digging and looking, trying to find a gopher. Not being successful at it, mind you, but he's actually doing pretty good. He's finding the little...
And here's today's podcast picture.
The tunnels and whatnot. And I see him digging, and all of a sudden, like, the earth gives away, and there's like another big hole, and then he keeps digging, and there's earth gives away, and he's like breaking through all these gophers' living rooms. And I can just see the little gophers. Well, I can't see them, but I can see them in my mind's eye going, oh no, he took there's our TV, he took that too, oh no, run from Basil. But the podcast picture has to do with Basil the Boxer. There he is with Vesta the dog, and they are standing up on the hill in Fairmont Ridge. Yes, I show a lot of pictures of Fairmont Ridge, but this was a cool picture. His Vesta's owner is named Mike as well. So we have both have these brindle dogs, and they get along, like, have so much fun running. Basil's never been really an ultra playful dog. He'll play with me, he'll play with some dogs, but Vesta just gets him going, and he's running around. It's fun. So see that picture down at mikesdailypodcast.com. Anyway, back to the New Zealand girl. New Zealand girl comes out of the car. She comes out of the car with her boyfriend. They're both like in their 20s. And she goes, wow, what's your dog digging for? And I said, I think he's digging for gophers. What's a gopher? And I'm like, oh, this girl's high. Everybody knows what a gopher is. No, I said a gopher. It's like a little squirrel. Oh, I'm from New Zealand. We don't have gophers. What? Yeah, we don't have squirrels. I'm like, do you have snakes? No, we don't have snakes. That's Australia. What? No snakes? No gophers, no squirrels. She says, we have kiwi birds. Oh. And then I said, yeah, how are you liking all this rain we're getting? She's like, this is what it's like in New Zealand every day. We have 4 seasons in one day. And I said, that's where the Crowded House song came from. She goes, yep, Crowded House is from New Zealand. Buy a Crowded House album. You'll thank me later. Don't dream it's over. Hey now, hey now. No, they have so many other great songs. Can't carry on this way, just go to sleep before it gets too late. Yeah! That's one of my favorites. I saw them in concert in Santa Barbara twice. First time back in 1989 with my friend Carlos. Bought a shirt that I wore till it dissolved on my body. I had it so long. It was an awesome shirt, done in that kind of Crowded House art they use. It's sort of this weird, it's impressionistic but classical at the same time. It's weird. And then I saw them years later when I was married. 2007 I saw them at the Santa Barbara Bowl, and it was like a reunion. It was awesome, though the drummer had long since died. He had committed suicide. It was very sad, but it was a great concert. So many great shows. Love Neil Finn. But this New Zealand girl, she said, what's your dog's name? And I said, Basil. And she said, I'm sorry, I get my pronouns mixed up sometimes when I'm rushing through my stories. I apologize. I think I referred to a female as a he recently, and I should have said she, because it was a female, I think. I don't know. It's confusing in today's world. Who cares? Gender's fluid. You know what then happened? She said, oh, Basil Brush, boom, boom. And I said, wait, when I say Basil, I've had Basil from Austin Powers, once again an Austin Powers reference. And why didn't I have this ready when I was about to...
You're fab, you're switched on, you're a bit of all right, yes!
Thank you, Austin. Yeah, so, no, not that Basil exposition from Austin Powers, not Basil Fawlty from Fawlty Towers, and not Basil the Mouse from The Great Mouse Detective. She said Basil Brush, boom, boom. I said, what's that? She said, that is a TV show from New Zealand. And I looked it up. It was actually from the 70s. It goes way back. But it's a big part of the New Zealand culture. Culture. It's a wonderful accent that I just cannot even do. And thank you for putting up with my New Zealand accent from earlier. But she was very nice, and she says, where's the lake? And I go, oh, Lake Chabot's right there. And she goes, okay. Nice talking to you, Ta. She said ta. No, she didn't, but that would have been cool if she did. Ta, toodles, toodaloo. Tuvalu is a girl that sings music that the Daily Haley turned me on to. And Daily Haley corrected me about Rochambeau is actually rock, paper, scissors. And I don't know where I got the other thing from on the last show. But I do know where I got the podcast picture and where you can see the podcast pictures at mikesdailypodcast.com. Go there. Now, go thee to that place. I promise you I will try and do podcasts the rest of this week. I think I just got one more tomorrow. Maybe I'll do one on Sunday. Just couldn't not do one yesterday because all the floods had left me so just frayed. And then, oh, by the way, it did actually flood to the point of needing boats in Hollister, California, which is, if you think of where Monterey is and Carmel, go east of like Salinas in that general vicinity. And they had floods and they needed boats. And of course, that makes it to the big news all over the TV screen. So that means my mom watches that and calls me and says, are you flooding? Is your house underwater? And I said, no, just I had water in the basement. And I was able to, once again, use the wonderful wet vacuum to get the, thank you so much, wet vacuum. Best investment I ever made. Bought it at Costco. It was on sale. Such a help, that thing. So that's what is at Mike's Daily. Oh, and I was going to do a podcast yesterday, but we had issues with the radio station I work for. And the engineer, I had to call the engineer, and he was in such a bad mood, and he yelled at me. And then he made some comment about, you should be up on all this and not have to call me in the morning, and you should stop doing, not podcasts, but he said, stop doing Facebook. And I'm not on Facebook that much. Just enough to, I post these on my Facebook. That's basically all I do on Facebook is post the podcast picture. And my Facebook, by the way, is facebook.com/Mike's Daily Podcast or Mike Talks. I got both of those. But yes, find links to all those places at mikesdailypodcast.com. And you can also find the Amazon if you want to buy anything on Amazon, like a wet vacuum. You can click on that, buy whatever it is you're going to buy. Go through the mikesdailypodcast.com website first and look for that Amazon icon. And then also there's the PayPal if you'd like to help us out that way. You'll get a special greeting from all the Café Anyway characters. And finally, there's the past interviews I've done, which I've said recently I'm not going to do anymore, unless it's somebody like the very beautiful Jennifer Lawrence, who would like an interview. Or actually, there's a very, what's her name? Hazel English is a local musician out of Oakland I would love to interview. She seems very interesting. But that's neither here nor there, or in Hollister. It's a segment that we like to call a fine article.
A fine article.
You silly great fat article.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
In Podcastro Valley, we have this wonderful paper called the Castro Valley Forum. And they wrote this article. I was very interested in it. Michael Singer wrote this. It says, got empty bottles and cans to recycle? So I used to drink a lot of beer, by the way. I've cut it out of my diet considerably. And I used to have a lot of beer bottles. And I would think to myself, oh, I could make money out of all these beer bottles I have. And then I looked into it, and it was like nothing. So I said no. But if you've got a bunch of empty bottles and cans to recycle, you may be hard-pressed to find a suitable place in Castro Valley. Cans, by the way, cans is where it's at. That's where the money's at, cans. You may be hard-pressed to find a suitable place in Castro Valley to cash in on the redemption fees you paid up front when you purchased that soda or beer. Castro Valley has only one site where residents can return recyclables for cash vouchers. But as local resident Jack Mason recently found out, it's not always easy or convenient to return those cans and bottles for cash. Quote, as a good citizen, I have been trying my best to recycle my bottles and cans and take them to the local center behind Lucky Supermarket in Castro Valley. But over the past month, there's been nothing there. And when I call the company to find out why, I can never get an answer. Mason told the forum that his repeated calls to the recycling company resulted in a circle of finger pointing and frustration over his wasted time. Don't you hate that? The site outside of Lucky Supermarket is run by Replanet, the largest recycling operation in California. Replanet. The company was not able to respond to the forum's request for a statement or information by press time by the time I got this fine article. In February, Replanet announced layoffs and 191 site closings. Some 350 Replanet sites still operate in the state. Typically, recycling centers take plastic, aluminum, and glass. Once cans and bottles are counted or weighed, the attendant issues a voucher good for groceries or cash, and it always smells like a brewery around those places. Most people put bottles and cans in their recycling bins because they have no patience with driving to a center, then waiting in line if the recycler is open and getting a few cents in return for their trouble. But you should put it in the recycle bin if you aren't going to do that. Don't put it in the general waste bin. Thank you, my public service announcement. You're welcome. Residents are entitled to cash in on the returns. The current CRV, or California Refund Value rules, ensure consumers get paid 5 cents for each eligible container under 24 ounces and 10 cents for each eligible container 24 ounces or greater. The state of California does not operate these recycling centers, but does ask that they be open a minimum of 30 hours a week, typically during business hours, and be located nearby a grocery store where the vouchers can be used. Castro Valley residents, schools, and businesses excel at recycling plastic, aluminum, and glass by using Castro Valley Sanitation District's Blue Bins. The agency routinely hands out awards acknowledging efforts to reduce waste and recycle where possible. By the way, they do offer these little green waste bins that you can put in your kitchen. I use one of those. That's for like your bacon grease we were talking about last show, and for your, paper towel, your apple cores, your chicken bones, etc. Not bio waste, but, green. Stuff that was alive at one time. A revision to California's recycling laws, also known as the Blue Bottle. No, wait, that's the coffee place. As the bottle bill is up for, that's way too expensive. The bottle bill is up for discussion in the current calendar year. Expected updates to the bill would increase subsidies to redemption centers until April 1st of this year, making it easier for them to keep fully staffed and potentially increase their hours. Californians recycled 3.6 billion pounds of aluminum and 1.1 billion pounds of glass in the last 6 months. Well, that's pretty good. As we go outside of Café Anyway, we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley. I'll tell you one thing. If I get yelled at about water conservation anymore, I mean, you shouldn't be turning on your sprinklers in the rain. That's stupid. Or having your sprinklers going on and having one of the sprinklers shooting out into the street. No, but if anybody says the word drought in the next 6 months, I'm going to punch him in the face. Hey, you know what? That's the end of the show. I don't really mean that. Oh, somebody out here heard me and took offense and punched me in the face. But somehow I miraculously healed up fine. Next show, it is going to be Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. Have a wonderful, dry day.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye!